All right. Welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Just to kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick, we had our AEW Dynamite review, and we talked about our Thursday Night Wrestling preview. Tonight on TNA, they're going to have the best tag team match in TNA Impact history. Honestly, probably the best tag match in wrestling history. An 8-on-8 champions against All Stars. That's pretty badass. Definitely love and respect that. Love AEW, love a TNA, in terms of that. But, of course, let's move on to the next segment. We have Uncle Howdy coming soon. WWE has teased Uncle Howdy for such a long time. Obviously, he was teased back in early 2023, but of course, he had the unfortunate passing of Bray Wyatt. So the storyline never really kind of finished. But definitely glad to see it coming back to life. And just remind you guys to use the tips and donations link to kind of tell me what you guys feel about everything you've heard on this show. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, tell me how you think I can improve as a host. Love the audience. The show to be a lot funner with you guys, got to be honest. So yeah, don't be afraid to hit up the chat. There's no such thing as a wrong answer in terms of, talking about wrestling. So don't be shy. Don't be shy at all. So yeah, we love peace, love, and positivity at the GSMC Sports Network. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So like I said before, Uncle Howdy recently has been teased to like, oh God, like you can't even have an episode of like Raw or SmackDown without seeing I don't think I've seen a QR code crash on NXT, but don't quote me on that. But it's getting it's about time. It's about time. I want to see this guy. I want to see what they decide to do with this story. Absolutely excited. So let's get on into it. So we have his family currently being built up, the Uncle Howdy family, and just kind of reflect, just kind of real quick, my opinion or my gist about Uncle Howdy. I don't know if any of you guys watch Jeepers Creepers, but that's what it reminds me of. I remember like when I first saw it, and I watched Jeepers Creepers, and it scared the crap out of me, and I was like, dude, like this guy's a bad mother flower right here. So like they would, this guy, Uncle Howdy, he's scary. He's scary. Like people said, like they're afraid of the fiend, but for me, I wasn't really afraid of it because I was like, dude, no, but I don't know why. Like this Uncle Howdy thing, I'm like, this guy can give you nightmares, bro. So just kind of wanted to, to kind of give him, ask opinion about that if you guys think he kind of looks like the guy from Jeepers Creepers. So like I said, there's several members of the WWE roster that were rumored to join the faction. Um, the latest QR code appeared on Monday Night Raw that you saw. Basically, you saw a floppy disk with the name Witch on it, and along with the date, Thursday, May 16th, 4 p.m. Obviously, it's today. Haven't really seen anything in terms of the, in inside the ropes or cage side seats or basically any of the wrestling breaking news outlets. But if I hear about it, I'll let you guys know. I do my YouTube shorts about wrestling, so make sure you follow the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, and would love to kind of hear you guys' opinion on it. Obviously, if you guys heard about anything in terms of Bray Wyatt, not Bray Wyatt, but Bo Dallas. Oh God, that just makes me sad saying his name. Miss the guy, Miss Bray Wyatt. But like, if you guys hear anything, like, definitely hit me up in the chat. Talk about Uncle Howdy. How do you want this to go? So yeah, the last QR code. So I guess this was supposed to be what the first member, of the faction was supposed to appear or reveal themselves on. I have not yet checked social media or anything like that. So perhaps maybe they did on like via Twitter/X or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But I'm interested to find out who's going to be part of the faction because there was another image that contained Roman numerals, and those Roman numerals were converted to several dates and the birthdays, for birthdays to be exact. So the dates matched up to be the birthdays of Dexter Loomis, Nikki Cross, Joe Gacy, and the other one was it was off by like 6 days, but the other one was Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan. So you kind of had those dates in Roman numerals. Kind of, did a little bit of research, and I was like, okay, so for sure you're gonna have those four guys. I knew like it was kind of speculated and stuff like that, but it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. You kind of have Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas was always kind of like that younger, he was the younger brother of Bray Wyatt, but he didn't really have much success in the WWE. He was teamed up with Curtis Axel, and they were the rated R superstars like Hitman. Um, he was the Bo Lever. He was in the Nexus. And I don't know, I just see a whole bunch of these superstars that were kind of never really given the chance they kind of deserved. Like, for example, you kind of have Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross, she came in like hot from WWE NXT. She had this like lunatic fringe kind of thing to her. They ultimately kind of, poppied her up, made her mainstream, and, kind of made her Nikki ASH, where she won the championship, but everybody knew she was going to lose it eventually. Of course, she had her tag team bouts with Alexa Bliss. But ultimately, her bookings were kind of wrong, and I think she was kind of done, wrong. So, because I remember one of the QR codes were like, "Don't worry, we're coming." It's kind of, letting people know that this is kind of like the second coming of their careers. They're coming back, but they're coming back for blood. Kind of like Dexter Loomis, where he was on the main Raw stage, and all he was doing was creeping after the Miz, and it was just like, dude, like what, like why, like why? Why don't you let this guy actually do what he does best? Is he's a professional wrestler, for Christ's sakes. Like, let him wrestle. Don't put him in like some awkward situations and stuff like that. So definitely excited to see what Dexter Loomis actually has his potential in terms of being an in-ring competitor. Definitely love to see what he does with that. Joe Gacy from WWE NXT. I always knew this guy was kind of like a crazy guy, but it's cool to see him kind of be in faction. I feel like his career it's gonna take off. I like this for Joe Gacy and for Aaron Rowan, the veteran or Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan, he tag teamed with Daniel Bryan a little bit. Obviously, he was with the Wyatt family, but never really did anything that crazy. I remember he was tag teaming with Luke Harper, and he was the Bludgeon Brothers. That was a pretty badass faction. They were dominant as a tag team, but they lost the championships. But I don't know, I'm kind of excited to see Eric Rowan come back to see what they do, because when he left WWE, he had this lame ass storyline where he had something in a cage covered by a blanket, and every person that he'd show, like, everybody be like, oh, dude, like, it's nasty. That was nasty. But excited to see him come back, kind of see, what they do with his character and stuff like that. So definitely. It just makes you think. So who will Uncle Howdy attack first? A heel wrestler, or perhaps a babyface, or maybe perhaps it doesn't really matter. Who knows? It could be both. It could be both. But so I did a little bit of speculating, kind of thinking about it. So first, let's go ahead and talk about Cody Rhodes. I think him attacking and going after Cody Rhodes is a bit far fetched and sublime, but anything can happen. Obviously, Paul Levesque has some tricks up his sleeve, but right now I feel like a feud with Uncle Howdy in terms of Cody Rhodes wouldn't really do well obviously it would do well for Uncle Howdy's career, but I feel like, dude, you're bringing this guy in, he's hot off the presses, a lot of people have high anticipation for Uncle Howdy, and you put him against the best there is, to the point where like anybody right now that's like, oh, he's fighting Cody Rhodes, he's gonna lose. Be like, dude, he's gonna lose. You're gonna bring Uncle Howdy back just to lose? Like, that's kind of messed up, bro. It's kind of messed up. So yeah. Next we have Jay Uso. I still get him confused. That's crazy. Jay Uso, main event Jay Uso, recently on Twitter, he took to social media and he said the Fireflies are mine now. I'm the Eater of Worlds, which was actually pretty interesting. Maybe kind of like a little hidden message there, perhaps. And kind of makes you think. Kind of makes you think that why would Jay say something like that with Uncle Howdy hiding in the shadows, ready to attack his first victim? I don't know. Obviously, he thinks the Fireflies are on his side, but were the Fireflies there to kind of warn Jay that something's coming after you, bro? Like, maybe like something like that could be partially part of it. But if Jay Uso wins the King of the Ring, which is, he's against Gunther on Monday Night Raw. If he beats Gunther, I feel like if he beats Gunther, I feel like this main event on Monday Night Raw is basically going to be the King of the Ring match. So whoever wins out of this match is going to take the King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia. You have Jey Uso or the Ring General Gunther. So it would be crazy if Jay got the win. If he picked up the win and he was the new King of the Ring, and then in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, it goes black. You have obviously Jay celebrating. You see the Fireflies, like, yeah. Then his music just cuts, and then you see Uncle Howdy come out. Like, that would be pretty badass. That would be, oh god. I hope they do something like that. I hope they do something like that. Definitely. Next, we have the LA Knight. The LA Knight was the last person Bray Wyatt fought. It was his last, like, kind of like his last rival, his last opponent. So I'd be interested to see if he goes after LA Knight. But I think ultimately it doesn't really seem, doesn't really seem logical for him, for Uncle Howdy to do so, because I feel like WWE right now should kind of focus on LA Knight and kind of making him into more than, kind of than he already is right now. He needs a title belt on him. He really does, 110%. And definitely something they probably should have thought of besides before signing a huge, YouTube star like Logan Paul, who's going to have a stranglehold over that United States Championship for as long as they can, because they're trying to squeeze the juice, trying to get as much attention as they possibly can. But would love to see the LA Knight fight Logan Paul at SummerSlam in front of Logan Paul's home crowd. So definitely would be pretty awesome to see that. All right, next we have Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn has always been kind of known as sticking up for the little guy with his back against the wall. Um, but I don't know right now. I don't know right now. Like, he kind of has this feud with Bronson Reed, Chad Gable, but I think as soon as Saudi Arabia ends, and I'm pretty sure he's going to retain the title, I think that's all going to kind of end. I think Bronson Reed will kind of fall away to the, on the side, while Chad Gable kind of deals with his. He's going to have a rival with Otis, especially after what happened on Monday Night Raw, where he slapped the taste out of Otis's mouth. And I feel like you kind of had that Shawn Michaels Diesel thing, when Shawn Michaels did that in the early 90s, where he, obviously had the big guy, the muscle, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and like he, disrespected him, and Shawn Michaels slapped him in the face. And then, of course, all his history, definitely one of the best, rivalries in the past was Shawn Michaels against Kevin Nash. But, definitely think that Chad Gable's heading toward that. So that's going to kind of leave Sammy wide open for, a new competitor, perhaps. Definitely interested to see how that kind of goes out. Or perhaps, like, if Gunther loses the King of the Ring, he comes back and he says, "Hey, Sammy, I never had my rematch clause, this and that and the other." So that could be a huge possibility of what could happen with Sami Zayn. But I think right now, I don't think Uncle Howdy would kind of go for that. Next, we have Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman returned to Monday Night Raw. He was drafted. Um, It'd be interested to see him kind of go after a former Wyatt family member, unless it's like trying to recruit him. But Braun Strowman, man, he looks jacked. He looks good. Love to see him back on the roster. It kind of made me think, I was like, I wonder why they re-signed him if it wasn't solely for this Uncle Howdy faction role. So definitely think in the future maybe some they will cross paths. But from the get-go, well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of changing my mind here. You could perhaps, Braun Strowman right now, he's not really booked in any storylines or any promotions. It'd be kind of cool to kind of see like that, like Braun Strowman work with Bray Wyatt's brother, Bo Dallas, and like, kind of, have a rival where they fight each other and kind of like put them both back on the map in WWE. I think that would be pretty cool. Kind of a way to honor, kind of Bray Wyatt, because, Bray kind of inserted both of them into this role in terms of like WWE. So, definitely think that would be pretty cool. Next, we have Randy Orton. Randy Orton was a future member. He was a past member of the Wyatt family. Obviously, that didn't work out. He fought, Bray Wyatt in like the farmhouse match and was crazy, lit on fire and stuff like that. And I think they had that crazy match at WrestleMania where there was bugs in the ring and stuff like that. That was pretty crazy. That was interesting. So, but honestly, I don't think that he would go after Randy Orton right now. I think they're going to be on SmackDown for sure. Oh, I don't even know where they're going, because technically none of them are drafted. None of them are drafted. So right now they're free agents to kind of roam, free agency, and to find out which show is better for them. And right now on Raw, you kind of have the demise of the Judgment Day kind of going down. And then on SmackDown, you have the Bloodline and Cody Rhodes. And I don't know which wrestling brand needs the Uncle Howdy storyline more, Raw or SmackDown. So honestly, right now I'm stumped. I don't know who they're going to attack. So yeah, next we have Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, of course, is probably one of the first names that I thought of in terms of when Uncle Howdy comes back, because that's what he was feuding with. They were supposed to fight at WrestleMania 39. Didn't happen because of the unfortunate passing of Bray Wyatt. But it'd be interesting to kind of see a Pride versus the Wyatt, well, the Howdy family. I don't know what their faction name is going to be. I hope it's something pretty badass. But so you have the Street Profits. They did lose that tag team match against A-Town Down Under. I kind of thought that was going to be a way to kind of bring forth up the Pride versus Logan Paul and his goons, A-Town Down Under, and where Bobby Lashley would fight Logan Paul for the United States Championship. Right now, Bobby Lashley is injured. I don't know when he's medically cleared to come back to wrestling, but you could definitely keep that in your back pocket. You don't know if that's going to be, part of the future in terms of the Uncle Howdy thing. Would be interesting because, like I said, they were supposed to fight in WrestleMania 39. So, definitely love this, see that. Absolutely 100%. So, yeah. Hey, guys, don't go anywhere. Next segment, we're going to talk about Billy Corgan and the National Wrestling Alliance. So, hey, guys, don't go anywhere.